Om. 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 ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् नारायणं पद्मभवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपादं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमतस्य शिष्यम् श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमतस्य पद्मपादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यम् तं तोडकं वार्तिककारमन्यानस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयम् नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् नमः श्रीशङ्करानन्द गुरुपादाम्बुजन्मने सविलासमहामोह ग्राहग्रासैककर्मणि आत्मानं चेद्विजानीयात् अयमस्मीति पूरुषः किमिच्छन् कस्य कामाय शरीरम् अनुसञ्ज्वरेत्. In verse number 14, 15 we read together. Jnanadvayena nashtesmin najnane tatkruta vritihi navadi nasti chetyesha vididhavi vinashyati paroksha jnanato nashyet asatva vrittihe kututa aparoksha jnana nashyat अमरोक्षज्ञाननाश्या यमानावृतिहेतुता अबानावृति. Jnanadvayena, by the two forms of knowledge, aparoksham, paroksham cha. Asmin ajnane nashte, upon the destruction of ajnan, तत्कृत आवृतिः अपि नष्टं गच्छति. Avritihi is concealment, the one which is making us suffer the samsara. Avritihi. And avritihi leading to vikshepa. That avriti is the hetu for vikshepa. Avritehe hetuhu ajnanam. So ajnane nashte avriti nashtam bhavgacchati. Therefore, what is that? These two jnanam, One is objectively knowing the reality, another is known as subjectively knowing the same thing. Objectively knowing is known as paroksha jnana. Para aksha jnanam. The very word means para aksha. Para means other. Aksha means eyes. Jnanam. Seeing from others' eyes, meaning seeing it objectively as something as outside. Para akshena. Para akshaihi, if you want to put it that way. So, conceptual knowledge, that's called paroksha jnana. And what is the paroksha jnana in the case of the 10th man? Example, that person came on the horseback. He said first, what did he say? Dashamaha asti iti. The 10th man whom you thought that has gone or killed, drowned in the water. No. Dashamaha asti iti. Paroksha jnanam dattavan. So therefore, these two of them, what do they finally bring about in the person? In the case of Atmajnanam also, Brahma asti iti paroksha jnana. Brahma asti iti paroksha jnana. Brahma asmi iti aparoksha jnana. Aparoksham tu na para aksham. It is not from an external objective thinking, it is subjectively realizing it. So, asti iti jnatva, having understood that Brahman is, nasti iti ajnanam nasham gacchati. Not there, that ajnan is destroyed. In the case of the example, the samsara, which is in the form of suffering of the loss of the 10th man, is overcome by the statement that he heard, of course, with a lot of shraddha. When the man, a horseman, not horseman, person on the horseback, he said, Dashmaha asti. And he has taken that word for granted. But when he said that Dashamaha asti, immediately he followed by Tat Tvamasi. That one whom you are searching, Dashamaha Tvameva. Tvameva Dashamaha. You are the 10th. Similarly, Asti iti Guruna Shrutavan. The one who listens to that from the Guru saying that Brahma Asti iti, Yatyavi Tasya Atma na Badi. The awareness has not come. So, Bhati, that Bhasa, Bhanam, that is a realization, awareness, this is my awareness, that comes only by aparoksha jnana. Therefore, Nabadi na asti iti esha dvivida abhi vinashyati. Jnanadvayena dvivida abhi vinashyati. Dvivida ajnanam nashyati. Na asti nabadi iti dvivida ajnanam nashnam gacchati. So, paroksha jnanataha, Panchami, paroksha jnanat, nashyet, what? Asatva avriti hetudha. The very root of asat, that hai nahi, that not there, not present, not true, that Brahman is not true, Brahman is not there, Brahman is not available, that one is removed by paroksha jnana. So that it's called indirect knowledge. In English, if you want to translate paroksha jnanam, indirect knowledge, not a direct knowledge. Now, when you see anything, any object, when you see, is it paroksham or aparoksham? Pratyaksham. So, pratyaksha jnanam, pratyaksha pramana, come here, no? So, then I will become, I am indirect only. So, pratyaksha jnana, pratyaksha is common for all of them to start with. In all the pramanas, pratyaksha is the beginning. When I'm seeing an object, so that seeing of the object takes place because of the aksha. So it is paroksha only. It's a direct, even though many colloquially we say direct knowledge, it's not direct. It is with the help of the eyes you are looking at it. If the eyes are not there, you cannot see it. If the eyes are not there, then the jnana will not take place. Similarly, ears are not there. You cannot have the knowledge of the sound. So also all others. But I am is not a paroksha jnana. So here, paroksha jnanatah nashyet asat tva avriti hetuta. The very cause of the misunderstanding, it is not there, that is removed. Aparoksha jnana nashya abhana vritti hetuta. Abhana vritti, the thought that it is inexperienced, it is not known, it is not something which is always present as me. The subjective experience of the same, one is that it is, another is I know it is. है मुझे मालूम है. So when paroksha jnana gives the knowledge that it is, and aparoksha jnanam makes you realize I know. So therefore, are you there? When I ask you, you say I am, and I know I am. Even if you don't ask, I am. Even if nobody accepts, I am. Unfortunately, I am that I am. So here, abhana vritti hetuta nashya. Aparajnanena amanajnanena nashya. What is that? Abhana vritti. I mean, it is not available, it is not known. Now, thereafter, aparoksha jnanam, when it takes place, there is no question of not being aware of it. Always aware of it. Not once in a while, always. Thereafter, that person, once he realizes that ahameva dashamaha, will he have any doubt afterwards? Ahameva na dashamaha. I am the 10th. Thereafter, there is no question of, because he could see all other 9. Then who could be the 10th? Me only. Once that is realized, ahameva dashamaha, then thereafter there is no doubt in his mind. So this way, samsara nivritti takes place. Then after samsara nivritti, shoka nivritti. The sorrows caused by samsara. Sorrows caused by the misunderstanding of the absence of the 10th man. Oh, now he's not there and rolling on the ground and crying and all. Everything stops at once. Similarly, in the case of a Atmajnanam, when samsara nivritti takes place, upon knowing the astitva of Brahman and bhasatva of Brahman as oneself, there is no more shokaha. So therefore here, abhanavarane nashte jivatvaropa samshayat कर्तृत्वाद्यखिलः शोकः संसाराख्यो निवर्तते अपानावरणे नष्टे जीवत्वारोपसंशयात् कर्तृत्वाद्यखिलः शोकः संसाराख्यो निवर्तते. This is which stage of development of thoughts? Out of 7? Out of 7, how much? You've forgotten what? 7? Swamiji, what is that? What are the 7? Ajnanam, Avarana, Sheva, So here it is. Sixth stage, shoka nivrittihi. So aparoksha jnanena abhana avarane nashte. What is avarana here? To be understood, avruti is removed through, they call it as 2 kinds of avruti, all right, but avruti leading to, what is that? Vikshepa. So, abhana avarana. Abhana avarana, asatva avarana. Vasatva avarana paroksha jnanena nashte tada aparoksha jnanena abhana avarane nashte sati jivatva aropa samkshayat. Also, what is aropitam here? Brahmani jivatvam aropitam. The idea of individuality has been superimposed on the supreme ever-present Brahman, as much as the notion of snake has been laid or superimposed on the rope. So upon knowing that rope as a rope, what is disappeared there? Jivatva. Sorry, the sarpatva, ahitva. Ahi means snake. So ahi or the sarpa, which is superimposed upon the snake rope, has been removed. Similarly, here, the jivatva, the individuality, I am this body, I am the mind, I am the thoughts, I am emotion, I am the bundle of the past, I am the memory, I am the vasanas. All that is removed at once when apana avarane nashte jivatva aropa samkshayat. The total elimination of kshaya, of elimination of aropitam jivatva. Jivatva aropa samkshayat nashanat. What is that removes? Shokaha nivartate. The sorrow goes away. That's why Bhagavan says, Shocha nanva shochastu. This shochaditvam, shochasitvam, jiva. You remember thinking yourself as a jiva, the individual self, there is no end of the shoka. Last part of also he said, Ma shucha hai. शोक का दूर करो, शोक को दूर करो. क्यों और कैसे? सर्वधर्मान परित्यज्य. So it is not about some Star Wars and all those things. I have absolutely no clue about what they are doing.
That's a message from the
Shokam, the shokaha nivartate. Samsarakyah shokaha nivartate. What is known as samsara akya, it is known as samsar, that shoka, this samsar itself is a shoka. Now one may think samsar is in the form of endless birth and death and all those things. Here Vedanta does not talk about the endless birth and death as samsar. Living here itself is samsar, not birth and death. And living here means what? Kartrutvati akila. मैं करता हूं, मैं भोगता हूं, ऐसा वो जो मानते हो, ये संसार है. Thinking that I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. Because the moment you say that I am the doer, then naturally there is an anxiety about result. And because you are a bhokta, therefore there is a need for engaging in the kartrutva bhava. So kartrutvadi akhila. Katru adi means bhoktrutva also included. Kartrutvadi akhila shokaha. All the sorrows are at once removed because of the removal of the aropita jivatvam. This individuality superimposed upon Brahman. So very clearly, for aparoksha jnanena abhana avritti niro, what called nashaha. That is the reason why both aparoksham and paroksham both are important. Paroksham to start with, or the shravana jnanam is paroksha jnanam only. Shravana, when the student comes to listen to the Mahavakya from the Guru Upadesha, it is paroksha jnanam only. It's an indirect knowledge. It is not his own. But then one should not stop there because asti iti janati. He knows Brahman is there. But still, the completion takes place only when it becomes asmi, as me. It is there, it is asti, but it is me. That is what is the completeness of that knowledge. So, कर्तृत्वादि अखिल शोक संसाराख्यः निवर्तते. अहम ब्रह्म अस्मि इति अपरोक्ष ज्ञानेन एव. As much as the 10th man is no more to be found out or to be searched, even when you say 10th man is there, next question is where? That man on the horseback said, don't worry, the 10th man is not gone or lost or dead, is there. Where? Next question is where? Are to me, oh, you didn't do correctly the counting. You didn't count it correctly. Now start from you only. Then there's no problem there. Don't say 1, 2, 3. Start here. Aham. That's what it's called. Pratama. What is it called? Uttama Purusha. Aham Uttama Purusha. From there you start. So, 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So the presence of the Aham, that presence of the Paramatma as Asmi, I am. Nivritte sarva samsare
सर्व संसारे
nitya muktatva bhasanat
नित्य मुक्तत्व वासनात्
nirankusha bhave tripti
निरङ्कुशा भवेत् तृप्तिः
पुनः शोका samudbhavat
पुनः शोकः समुद्भवः
निवृत्ते सर्व संसारे नित्य मुक्तत्व वासनात् निरंकुशा भवेत् तृप्तिः पुनः शोका समुद्भवात्. Samsare nivritte, upon the removal of the samsara, again the point is samsara nivritti takes place not by any external help. External help is only giving knowledge. Knowledge, when it is understood and realized, then samsara nivritti takes place on its own, because this samsara is by nature is mithya. It's a self-imagined confusion. Nashto moha smriti nirlapta. My delusion gone by, I remembered what? I created it. I created the problem. But obviously, when Guru beginning with you will not say, you know what the problem is? Yeah. You. Durvara samsara davagmidabdam dotu yamanam duradrishtavade. When the student goes and complains to the teacher, asti upaya. He just calms him down. There is a way to get out of it. No, first he won't say. If you go to the doctor and then I have this is the stomach ache, you know what the problem? You. Unnecessary eating. So here, then samsara nivritti takes place by what? By the realization that to begin with it was not even true. Beginning itself, it is the imagination of the snake on the rope is a mistake. And we are not ready to accept the mistake because all around everybody is making the same mistake. Therefore, we don't think that it's a mistake. If everybody is doing the same thing, will you think of even questioning or doubting it? You start doubting it only when you are shown this is not right. So in the same way here, when I have mistaken the rope to be a snake, I did not even know that it is a mistake. As much as this 10th man, one who did not count the 10th person, it is a mistake, and he did not know that he made that mistake. Until that person comes and tells you, you made a mistake first of all. So here, nivritte samsare, upon the removal of samsara, which is mithya rupa samsara, nivritte, nitya mukta swabatva bhasanat, Nityamuktatva bhasana. So that mukti was always nitya only. That liberation was not denied to you. You denied yourself. That liberation of the nature of the reality being ever liberated is not even recognized, and when one is removing his confusion about it, one comes to know that it has always been there. Nityamukta Vasanat. The rope was always there. In that condition only it was there. The same rope alone was there even before when I mistake it to be a snake. So Nityamukta Vasanat. Upon the awareness coming upon about the nature of oneself as ever free. So mukti कोई नहीं दे सकता है आपको. अरे बाबा, I thought that somebody would give me some. Ajnana nivritti will take place. Prapti of the mukti is on its own accord only. Adhishtana drishti takes place. Aropita vasti vinashe adhishtana drishti. That very substratum which is there always, you come to see it. Manifestation takes place. Nityamuktatva bhasanat. That which is always present. Then, what is the tripti and the fulfillment? Nirankusha bhave tripti. The tripti, the contentment, the satisfaction, the fulfillment, nirankusha, with no impediment. Ankusha means obstructions. There is no more obstruction to this. Why? I was there the same, I am now the same thing only. It was there, it is there, it is there forever. Nothing can come and obstruct this. Nothing can come in the way between me and my own being. All that mind had created havocs, etc., are set asunder. Thereafter, there is triptihi. That is the seventh stage. Triptihi. Atmanyevatmana tushtaha. Sita prajnastata uchyate. Right? Tushtihi. Santushta satatam yogi yadatma drida nischayah. Satatam yogi santushtaha. The yogi is always santushtaha. Jnana vijnana triptatma santushtaha yena kenachite aniketa stiramatihi bhaktiman me priyonaraha. Jnana vijnana tripta atma. But the word tripti is used there also by Gita. Triptaha. Content, complete, fulfilled. What? Jnana vijnanena. Jnanena vijnanena cha. Paparoksha paroksha jnanena. Aparoksha jnanena triptaha. Jnana vijnana triptatma kutastaha vichidendriya. So therefore, punaha shoka asamudbhavat. There is no more birth of shoka. Shoka asamudbhava. Samudbhava means to come up. Asamudbhavat. Why there is a tripti here? It is not the temporary one. Why the santushti? Satatam yogi santushti. Why? There is no more birth of shoka anymore. I have not seen anybody giving the name to anybody as Shoka. Ashoka only they give. What's your name? Shoka. Nobody gives the name Shoka. I have not seen anybody giving the name Ravan also. I think some people are rare. Shurpanaka I have not come across. But they are all Shurpanakas, but I have not seen anybody having the name Shurpanaka, Kaikeyi. I don't see that. Why? Mantara. Shakuni. So here, Shoka Asamadbhava Triptihi. Punaha Shokaha Asamad. There is no possibility of any more shoka out of that because there is no falling back into the delusion again. Once having understood that rope as a rope, there is no again mistaking it to be a snake any other time. Even if the entire word that it says it is snake, you'll smile. It cannot be. So having realized that nature of that, That's why it's called Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Satyam, I was thinking about that. Satyam iti Jnanam. That Jnanam is Anantam. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Satyam eva Jnanam. Yet asatyam tat Jnanam na. What is Satyam alone is true knowledge. What is asatya? It cannot be jnanam because that cannot be considered as a true knowledge. And satyasya jnanam anantam. That knowledge is eternal. It will not fail after some time. Okay, I know it. After some time, I don't know it. No, it doesn't happen that way. Once you have realized one's own being, there is no question of not knowing it. Any other object of the objective knowledge you may forget. But this knowledge is unforgetful. Once you know it, it's always street. So be careful before you enter. Swamiji, afterwards, I cannot be ever sorrowful. No, not possible. Even if you want, you cannot. So, shoka asamudbhavat. Triptaha. Now, question. Now, he having explained the first two in the 7 steps as bondage. Ajnana, first 3 of them. Ajnana, Avarana, and Vikshepa are considered as the. Now, he continuing here, the 7 various states that are explained. What is the importance of all of them? It's spoken here again in a nutshell. Aparoksha jnana shokya, aparoksha jnana shok, aparoksha jnana shoka.
अपरोक्षज्ञान शोक
निवृत्त्या के उभे
निवृत्त्या के उभे इमे
अवस्थे जीव के ब्रूते
जीवके ब्रूते
आत्मानं चेतिति श्रुतिः
तं चेदिति श्रुतिः
अपरोक्ष ज्ञान शोक निवृत्त्या के उभे अवस्थे जीव के ब्रूते आत्मानं चेतिति श्रुतिः. In that verse, first verse, Atmanam Chet Vijaniyat. The Chet, Atmanam, as the oneself. That is how the Shruti has started. Atmanam Chet Iti Brute. Shruti Brute. Shruti says what? Atmanam Chet. So, Aparoksha Jnana Shoka Nivritya Ke Ube. These 2 of them, which are Aparoksha and Paroksha Jnana, is together to be understood as Atmanam Chet Vijaniyat. Vijaniyat Chet. What is that? Paroksha Jnanena Aparoksha Jnanena Che Vijaniyat Chet. Only in the case of a person who has understood this nature of reality through paroksha jnana upadeshena, tada aparoksha jnanena samadhi avasthayam, vijaniya chet. Only when he knows that, then kimichan tasya kamaya sharidam anusanjaret. So, avaste, these 2 are jivage. These 2 belong to whom? Brahman kindly. Is in Brahman state, Paroksha Jnana and Paroksha Jnanam. Paroksha Jnanam and the Paroksha Jnanam belong to Jiva. So Jivage, Avaste Jivage. These 2 belong to the Jiva. So, Atmanam Chedidi Shrutihi Kim Anusanjvaret. Then how does that person thereafter will identify oneself as the body, Shariram Kim Anusanjaret? How will he thereafter will ever identify with the physical body? That is the question. Therefore, the interesting point here is that these 2 belong to the individual Jiva who has mistaken himself to be a limited person, and such a one alone is gaining this knowledge. Jivage, these two of them. Avaste, these two of them, two stages, direct and indirect knowledge. Direct and direct. And causing the, what is the final effect of that? Samsara nivritti. Kiska samsara nivritti? Jivasya samsara nivritti. Because the Brahman does not have any samsara to start with. Rope never suffered the fangs of the snake, Gurudev would say. The rope never get poisoned by the snake. Right? So that rope is unaffected by the presence and absence of the snake also. In the same way, Brahman is being the underlying adhisthana. It is never disturbed by the conditions of the jiva. So the jiva is the one upon the gaining of the direct and indirect knowledge comes to have the experience of the samsara, nivritti and tripti also finally. So continuing here the next way. Ayamityavarokshatvam uktam tadvividam bhaved vishayasvaprakashatvat tiyapyevam tadikshanat ayamityavarokshatvam uktam tadvividam bhaved vishayasvaprakashatvat tiyapyevam tadikshanat. Now, the Purva Bakshi, for a long time he has been away, is coming back. Okay, firstly, let me ask one question. Aparoksham tu Atmanaha Swarup. Aparoksham means what? Direct knowledge, direct being. Meaning what? Yet sat tat sada aparoksham. That which is of the nature of reality is always subject only. How can that which is always aparoksham can ever be spoken as paroksha? When paroksha jnanam is given by the teacher, by the guru, he makes it appear like an objective knowledge, isn't it? Brahman asti iti vadati. Asti iti vakyena parokshatvam. Parantu Atma sada aparoksha rupa hai. So Atman is always of the nature of subjective reality. How can Shruti and Upanishad and then also the Guru, how can they refer to that as a paroksha to start with? This is a peculiar question that is this Purva Bakshi has. Swamiji, we never think like that. How is that? Because we never think. That's the point. The way that Purva Bakshi thinks, it is very difficult for us to even comprehend why is he thinking like that. How is he thinking like that? So therefore, here, what is aparoksha jnana, first of all? Now, that which is away from you is paroksha. Swargadi loka. There is a Swarga, there is a Naraka, there is a Bhuhu, Bhuha, Swaha, Maha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam, and all these things are there, and when you do the Punya, you go there, all that. Yes, they are away from me, they are different from me, they are unknown to me. About that knowledge, you can call it as Paroksha Jnana. And they remain only Paroksha. See, when an object is in front of me, I objectively look at it. That when I, let us say, uh, um, let us say you're going, if somebody has not gone to Bombay. So there is a city called Bombay there in India, it's called the commercial capital of India and whatever it. So somebody would understand that as paroksha, correct? In this worldly context I'm talking about. It will remain as paroksha. Until when? Until he lands in Chhatrapati Shivaji terminal, right? And he lands there. Welcome to Bombay. Mumbai, not Bombay, Mumbai. So when he lands there, then in its relative point of view, it becomes aparoksha. Meaning what? I knew that there is some place called Bombay, Mumbai, and now it is here. Aduna atra asti. So anything, object, when it is only a thought, it is remaining as only a paroksha. When it has become an experience, then it becomes aparoksha. Can Brahman be of that kind? Something far away and come to be experienced as another one? Because it is never it is away from you like another place or an object anytime. Is it not? It is, if it is not something external that you come to know about a thing, and then upon reaching where you come to realize it is now experienced. Even as you are, in the case of a 10th man also, when he has told that 10th man was there, 10th man is present, even when he was uttering that same statement, 10th man is me. It is me only. Even at that time when he was talking about 10th man, 10th Dashamaha Asti, even at that point, the reality is what? Ahameva Tat. So here, Vishaya Swaparakashatvat. Two things we have to understand. One is Vishaya. Vishaya Rupena, as though it is an object. Even that Vishaya, which is Atma, is of the nature of what? Swaprakasha. It is self-illuminating, meaning ever-existing. Then secondly, Diya api evam tadikshana. Even as the second stage, that's why it says two stages here. I am the statement that is made in the first verse in the verse is Atmanam ched vijaniyat ayam asmi iti. Two words are used. I am this. Asmi, I am. I am is paroksha. Asmi is aparoksha. Because you cannot refer to something as this if it's already you. Some people say, this very unhappy person. So what are you? This is in Malayalam. It is yeah, Malayalam. There you don't say name you. You know that, no? Most of the time, let us say that Achyutan, let us say. Even if that person is in front of him, Achyun Varunundo. Right? അതേയല്ല എന്താണ് എന്താ See, are you coming? They won't ask. Achyutan Varunundo. Meaning, you the Achyutan. So, is Achyutan coming with me? So they will say, are you coming with me? Achyutan Varunundo. You may think, who is Achyutan? I'm you. So, Swaprakasha. So here, I am iti aparokshatvam muktam. So even as I am, it is used, even if it is used as I am, actually it is aparoksha. I am asmi. So even though any other thing you use, I am is only with respect to something other than you. But in this context, in this verse, I am is used as aparoksha only. I am asmi, I am iti aparokshatvam muktam, that aparokshatvam dvividam. Two types. What are the two types? One in the form of paroksha, another in the form of aparoksha. Understanding. Even though it is referring to only that which is never away from you, yet only first in the form of Vishaya Vritti, then Atma Vritti. Vishaya Swaprakashatvat Diya api evam tadikshanat. One, it is understood as an object. The second one is recognized as the subject. Even though the statement which is given by the Upanishad Vakya is I am Asmi iti Himachan Kasyam. What is that called? Atmanam ched vijaniyat I am Asmi iti. Even though the word I am literally means something other than you as this, but in the Upanishad statement that is given here is referring to the aparokshama. That is the reason why diya. So when it is something which is in the worldly sense, when you are in the presence of that object, it becomes closest to you. When it is only in the form of something, when you know about it, it is paroksha. When you experience it, becomes paroksha. Whereas in the case of Atman, it is always a paroksha. Even though paroksha rupena, first point of teaching takes place as paroksha, then later on it is realized as paroksha. So now that is being further explained. Paroksha jnana kalepi
Parmokshajnanakalepi
Vishayasva prakashata
Vishayasvaprakashata
Sama Brahmasvaprakasham
Samabhrahmasvaprakasham
Asti Devam Vibodhanat
Asti Devam Vibodhana
Paroksha Jnana Kalepi Vishayasva Prakashata Sama Brahmasva Prakasham Asti Devam Vibodhanat. Even during the time when it is being objectified, when this teacher is teaching as Brahma Asti, even at the time when it is apparently not being shown as one's own true nature, so Praroksha Jnana Kale Api, even at the time of Paroksha Jnana, Vishaya Swaprakashata, Aparoksha Rupata. Swaprakashata means of the nature of self-illuminating. In other words, any other Vishaya, until a person comes to know about it, its existence is questionable. Unless somebody who is aware comes to see that. Whereas in the case of Atman, it is of the nature of always illuminating itself, even if nobody watches it. It is like the sun, light is there. To see the light of the sun, you don't need anything else. Because it is by itself illuminating. You see it, it is already there. In the same way, Atman is that even as one objectifies it, it does not become objectified. It is always remaining as Swaprakasha nature. So therefore, Vishaya Swaprakashata. Vishaya here means Brahma. Brahmanaha Swaprakashata. Brahman's nature being of self-knowing. Paroksha Jnana Kale Api. So therefore, it is not that Brahman at any point of time has become Paroksha. It is not that Brahman ever becoming an object of anybody's comprehension. Even as the student as trying to be objectifying it, it remains only a subject. That is the reason why in Kenopanishad he says, do you know? The student teacher asked that question, right? Do you know Brahman? So what does he say? I know, but I don't know. Why is he saying that? You are asking whether I have objectified it. No, I didn't objectify it. So that doesn't mean I don't know. What is that verse? Huh? Huh? Yes. Forgotten. Keno Swamiji. Long time. Naham manye suvededi no na vededi vedacha. Naham manye suvededi. I don't think I know it. Meaning what? Naham suvedaha. Meaning what? I'm not objectified it. No na vededi. Not that I don't know. Vedacha. I know it. Tell me one thing. Do you know or you don't know? Huh? Do you know or not? Do not know. If you think if anybody else thinks that he knows, he does not know. The one who knows it cannot be known knows. Yodas tatveda, tatveda. Among us, one who knows. So here, paroksha jnana kale api vishaya swaprakashata asti. Brahman, even if it is objectified during the time of teaching, it never loses its to be a subject. Even as that person comes and tells that Dashamaha Asti, even as he was telling, that 10th man who is looking at and listening to is actually is there in the form of a subjective presence. So, Swaprakasham Brahma Sama. At both the times, in both conditions, Paroksha Jnana Kale Tata api Aparoksha Jnana Kale api Brahma Sama. It is same at all times. As far as Swaprakasham, at this nature of its self-illumination is concerned, it is always remaining the same. It underwent no change, even though it is apparently objectified for the sake of teaching. The teacher has to talk about it at the point when the student is remaining still in ignorance, not able to overcome his impurities. At that point also he has to say Brahma Asti Eva, even though, yes, he says Asti, Tvamasi Eva. Right? It's not even as a person coming to inquire upon the reality of that snake, the rope remained as only rope. It never has become ever the snake. In the same way, even when I'm trying to objectify the possibility of Brahman as something else other than me, it always remains as only the subject. So, Sama Brahma Swaprakasham Asti iti evam vibodhana. Even when we start as Asti, you know, even as it is being recognized or being taught as Asti, not Asmi, Asti. So this is the beauty of that. Brahma Vishaya is Swaprakashatvat. It is always eliminating. And it is never ever becoming an object of anybody's thought or object of any senses or object of any comprehension, even as it is being spoken as an object through Paroksha Jnanam. So therefore, one at the same time, one cannot say direct knowledge is not necessary, because without the indirect knowledge is not necessary, because without the indirect knowledge, there is no possibility of the student's mind getting directed. Huh? So what does the teacher do? Making the student get in direction towards Brahman. That indirection is necessary to become directed. So here, continuing, we'll see the next one more verse also. Aham brahmetyanullikhya
Aham brahmetyanullikhya
brahmatityevamuliket
brahmasityevamullike
parokshajnanametanna
parokshajnanametanna
Prantam bhadanirupanat
Pramatam padvantirupana
Aham brahmetyanullikya brahmasityevamuliket parokshajnanametanna Prantam bhadanirupanat Purvapaksh. The thing is, um, a knowledge remains as knowledge only when it is uncontradicted. If an understanding is contradicted by another thought, if, let's say I know a thing about something, and after some time I came to know about the same thing in a different way, the previous understanding goes away, meaning previous understanding is contradicted. Then what we think about the first knowledge which I have got, which is subject to contradiction later, is known as Bhranti. So, when the Atma Jnanam is given here as objective knowledge as Asti, is contradicted as Asmi, therefore the previous knowledge that one has got as Paroksha Jnanam is a Bhranti. It cannot be considered as Jnanam. Because if it's that which is subject to contradiction, cannot be considered as a true knowledge. This happens in the world of science also. When somebody has come to a conclusion, this is how it is, and later further development of science and technology, etc., proves that is wrong, then what happens? The previous knowledge is Bhranti. Bhranti means what? It's only a hasty conclusion which has no reality as far as the new understanding is concerned. The new understanding has contradicted the previous one. So here, aham brahmedi anullikya. First of all, when a person who has not gained that correct knowledge as aham brahma, ullikya means having realized, anullikya means not having realized, not having come to understand in the beginning. Braham brahmedi anullikya, brahma asti iti evam ulliket. What does he say? Before he comes to know that as Aham Brahma, what is his conclusion before? Brahma Asti. Idi evam ulliket. So therefore, Paroksha Jnanam Bhrantam. That is the question. Now, is it a Bhranti? That will be answered in the second line. The second line is an answer. The teacher himself, Dhyarani himself puts the question. If this is asked, I'll tell you it is not. So, based upon this conclusion, what is Bhranti, what is called hasty knowledge or delusive knowledge or imperfect knowledge, so to say, is that which, when once it is understood and later on when it is contradicted, that first knowledge is known as Bhranti. Until then, you don't know. When you have that knowledge of something, until it is contradicted, you will not know it is Bhranti. So as much as the snake, until it was told as realized as a rope, do you think that is a Bhranti? Do you think it is a Bhranti? No.
No, at that time.
At that time of thinking about it as a snake and all other suffering you go through, not only the snake you come to have as that that is only a snake, that is the knowledge, that's your perception, and even the further suffering caused by that also is true. As much as Arjuna had suffered all that thing until he said what Nashtomo. So also in any jiva, any samsarin, what he considers or she considers that the whole world is causing me trouble, and all the sorrows, attachment, and then depressions and dejections and disappointments and sorrows and unhappiness and blah, blah, all these things are true. When? Because the first one which I have come to conclude, Aham Samsari, Aham Jiva, is never contradicted. If you go to a common man and say, you know, you're not a jiva, what do you mean? Now, when one comes to realize as Aham Brahmasmi iti, is it not the previous one is contradicted? Nivritti takes place for what? Nivritti is the Nivritti of samsara nivritti you spoke about. Samsara nivritti means elimination of samsara, which is based upon the previous. Similarly, Brahma asti iti paroksha jnanam is contradicted when Brahma asmi iti jnana udayaye. Therefore, paroksha jnanam bhranti. Paroksha jnanam bhranti means it is actually ajnana. It's imperfect, incomplete knowledge. This is the Purvapakshi standpoint. Now, why it is not? इसको इंतजार करना पड़ेगा. What is इंतजार is a Urdu word. English, संस्कृत में अपेक्षा, प्रतीक्षा करना. ओम सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. ओम शांति शांति शांति. हरि ओम. श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः.